Hello and welcome to episode 44 of Your Ultimate Comeback. In honor of the NFL season, every week we're going to shout out to a specific person who wears that number in the NFL.
Whose idea was that?
That was Raquel's.
Yes. And I don't even like football.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
So this is in honor of Ahkello Witherspoon, number 44 from the LA Rams.
Yes.
The only reason I wear the Rams is because no one wears number 44 in the Broncos, so I'm not dissing my Broncos.
We need to fix that.
I know.
Ask Garrett to get on that.
I could be the honorary Denver Bronco number 44.
Hey, there you go.
But Floyd Little, famous number 44 from the Broncos.
Okay.
He's just not playing now.
Okay. So I think we'll transition with, from this into maybe basketball through the whole, should we just keep
that's
it going?
a great idea.
Yeah, seasonal.
Why not?
Is it going to be my job to find the number?
Of course.
And okay.
Of course. Yeah, because you know who, you can be politically correct about because you don't piss off any of your athletes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Put that on you.
Yeah.
Super excited to have this guest with us. Her name is Chelsea Leigh. She's an online weight loss coach and holistic nutritionist. She's 31, which I love, right? It's coming in on the younger end, which is good because a lot of our listeners think, oh, well, I'm young still, so this doesn't matter to me.
Right.
But she's going to share her journey from obsessed fitness enthusiast to balanced living advocate. Love that. Specializing in a unique method that helps women achieve body transformations without strict diets. Chelsea focuses on empowering women to improve their relationship with food. Drawing from her own personal experiences, we're going to dig into that, and health struggles, she has taken almost a decade of knowledge and packaged it up into her own fitness and nutrition app, where she guides women on maintaining balanced lifestyles they can take pride in. Chelsea's holistic approach integrates movement, mindset, nutrition, lifestyle adjustments, and addressing root causes. She guides women to both feel and look their best while emphasizing the importance of the real work that many trendy diets overlook. Very excited for this.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Right into the realm of where we like to dig.
I know.
Yeah.
I was listening and going, oh, yeah, I agree with that. I definitely do. So thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Excited to have you here. So,
And I feel like we're a pretty big deal now because she reached out to us.
I did.
So there's that.
We'll see. But you guys were speaking to me,
Yeah,
so
love it.
I needed to. Yeah.
Perfect. It's perfect timing. Oh, and I'd like to address our first merch.
Yep.
Our
Love
little
the
hats.
merch. I didn't qualify for merch.
No.
yet,
They're
but I would love
being
to.
made. These
Very
were just
cute.
the
initial
this is
testers.
the first run. We're going to do sweatshirts, t-shirts, all the things. So we'll
for
make sure you.
fun.
Someone had a good idea, like cool socks with like microphones around them.
That's what Vanessa said.
I think it was her that came
Is
up
that
with the
because she's one of the Gen Zers that has to have the high socks?
I guess.
I still wear the low socks.
Me too.
Sorry, not sorry.
I still wear the low
Do
socks.
you?
I don't really wear the high socks.
high don't
I'm
look
already
good on
short,
every-
so they cut my leg.
They don't look good on everybody.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not my jam.
Yeah. Thank you. That makes me happy to hear someone her age say that.
The memory it brings back to me is pictures of me from the early 80s.
Yeah.
With the high Nike socks, like all the way up to
All
the
the way
knees.
to the knee?
Like
Yeah.
the stripe on top.
Okay,
the
that's
stripe
like
below.
cholo stuff right there.
I got a picture of me at
Right?
SeaWorld.
Am I right?
I was 7 years old at SeaWorld. And I had like these short little shorts on, these socks, high collar to my knees.
Wow.
So I can't wear.
You were a specimen.
Yes, I was. Yes, I was.
Bring that back, Brad.
Yeah, that's a look. That is a look.
Love that.
Yep. Well, Chelsea, thank you for joining us today.
Thank
Super
you.
excited to dig in with you, explore with you.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about who you are, kind of what you do, all that good stuff. I know I kind of went over your bio,
Yeah.
but if you get a little more in depth
Definitely.
on
Well, how far back do we want to go?
as far as you want.
Like 5.
Yeah. How did you dress when you were 5?
No socks like that though. No high socks. Yeah, I've been in this space for almost 10 years, which is pretty wild. Not as much as you. I know you're a little more than me. I'm almost there. But it's been a journey, and I didn't grow up wanting to do this. I was actually, and like if we want to just go back to kind of where it started a little bit, but I was in school for psychology. I always knew I wanted to help people. I didn't really know in what capacity, but it was always something that I felt pulled to do. I was always kind of the quote unquote relationship coach for my friends, which is obviously so, you know what I mean? But I was always like, I felt like I pretty much could see both sides of things. And I just loved helping people in a lot of ways. And so I was in school for psych, and then in the midst of everything, and I also was not the happiest with my body. So let me say, I mean, I wasn't.
And you're 21 at this time.
I was
roughly.
Yeah, 20.
Okay.
Around 20.
Okay.
The quote unquote skinny fat, let's put that out there, which I did end up getting a lot of haters on Instagram for using that term.
Really?
Oh yeah. I had some trolls saying I couldn't say it and I couldn't use it because they thought I was like fat shaming. And I was like, okay, this is a real thing. It's also a dangerous thing. Like when you're skinny fat like that, I mean, sometimes women have way higher body fat and it's not healthy, you know? And I was always small. My mom is small. Like, so you could look at me and arguably be like, oh, that's a small, like, you know, thick girl. But I had a higher body fat percentage. I never really went to the gym. It just wasn't part of me. But so that being said, but I was in school for psych. And then senior year, I kind of got to a point where I was thinking about applying to grad school and doing that whole thing. Probably marriage and family therapy. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not happy with my body. I have like a pooch. I'm like just not happy. So I enrolled in a gym. And then my whole life just completely changed, took a completely different turn. But it was a boot camp. It was designed, obviously, with the weightlifting. I was eating so much. I was so malnourished at that point. Like I was just I was the girl not eating and doing cardio at the gym. Like I had no idea. And you don't know. Stick. Yeah. But skinny fat, you know?
Yeah.
You just don't know what you don't know. So that's how I got into it. I fell in love with it. And then before I knew it, grad school never happened. I ended up getting certified. I ended up working there. And I was there for like 4.5 years. But what was interesting is I started seeing how much psychology is involved in this and how many times, because you see these people every day. You love them, you know, especially when you're at a gym with more of a membership base. And I would be like, oh, she's having a terrible day, you know, and I'm here to make your day better. And I am here to have you leaving feeling way better than you did when you came in here. But I would see just like how much psych was involved. It's like, you're kind of a therapist as a trainer, like you are.
100%.
And I was using a lot of that. And I was like, okay, my dad can't be too mad at me for not using my psych degree. I was like, I'm still using it. But you end up just getting to know these people and working on their mental like stuff. And like, how was your day? Like, I'm so sorry. Like, all these things. And I just fell in love with it. And I just realized like, okay, I could maybe take this further. But at that time, and this is kind of where some like personal struggles come into play. But at that time, I was trying to lead by example. I was a trainer there. We would do like, it was like a 60-day challenge type of gym. People would lose a bunch of weight, gain it back. Love the gym though. I mean, like such a special place in my heart. But I would kind of see that. And then I would do some of the challenges with them. Like, why not, you know? So I started developing a very unhealthy relationship with food. I was Monday through Friday so strict on my schedule, and oatmeal and egg whites and protein and boiled chicken. And it was like if I had an extra half of an avocado, I was like, that's it. Like the whole day's ruined. And it was so bad and it was so ingrained in me. And while I was telling them, you know, it's okay, like I was kind of like internally struggling a little bit. The weekends were cheat, alcohol and not like crazy, but Sunday was like a cheat day, not even a cheat meal. It was like I was so deprived, and just years and years and years of doing that. And so that was kind of what was really like going on. I was so sleep deprived. I was waking up at, you're gonna hate this, like 3:45. Because I lived in Santa Monica. I was training in Northridge. So I would wake up at 3:45. I would drive out there, teach like 4 classes in a row. And then I wanted to make money, you know, so I would sleep, I would take a nap there, and then I would have like a PT client, or I would have a group session or a booty class or whatever. And then I would have a like 7 p.m. client, and then I would drive home.
Wow.
So
sounds familiar, Brad.
Yes.
Right?
Except for especially the booty class, actually.
Well, I specialize in those.
But I think on the outside it was, oh, trainer Chelsea, she's so healthy, she's so I was so not. I was so not. And no one really knew. I don't think I really knew. I was so running on nothing. I was destroying my metabolism at this point because I was going up and down, especially on the weekends. And then if there was a vacation, then I was that girl. I would like bring oatmeal to Vegas.
Oh, okay.
And my friends were like, no. I would do like a booty workout in the hotel. I was so terrified.
I remember that. I mean, meaning I can attest.
Yeah.
I've been
and
there.
it was like this obsession of just like I've worked so hard. I don't want to derail any of my progress. When at the end of the day, none of that would have affected me at all.
Right.
And so that was for a very long period of time.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
During that, did you realize that there was some a little bit of, gosh, I'm not really in alignment with what I'm preaching.
I mean,
did you feel that? I don't want to say imposter syndrome, but a little bit. Did you feel that at the time?
Because if I had a morning, which was very rare, because for the most part I was there super early. But if I had a morning where I didn't have to wake up, I was so excited.
Yeah.
I was so excited to have a morning routine and like make my coffee and sit and like read or something. And I realized like, wow, I'm really deprived of this.
Yeah.
But then I was so happy. Like I was really enjoying doing something that I really didn't think I would ever do. I thought my life was going to go in a completely different route. Right. So I was kind of giving all I had to this. But yeah, I definitely felt that for sure.
I think like to trainers and fitness coaches listening to this, most of us can attest to that.
Yeah.
Like it's the struggle.
Well, you're kind of a slave in a way to your clients, but also they're kind of a slave to you. If you think about, like, you guys have to find a time to train. But I also think it's, if you can schedule it in a way that works for you, where maybe you don't fill your schedule as much, maybe you do maybe you start doing nutrition on the side, and at that point I wasn't. I had a couple nutrition certifications just under my certification, which you had to do. But, and I would help like a couple people with meal plans, but for the most part it was all workouts, and then it would be any like challenges that we did at the gym. Yeah.
But that whole like getting out of bed super early, working till super late, it's a very dysfunctional lifestyle and then there all comes in the guilt of I'm asking these people to do stuff that I'm not doing.
Yeah.
Because I know it's what's right, but how do you like you said? I'm still at that point. Like to get up and have a cup of coffee and just sit and enjoy a cup of coffee is heaven. Like because it
it's
hardly
so
ever
important
happens
for your day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then my workouts were half the time not even good.
Yeah,
And then I was like, oh, I'm going to jump into a class because I'm already here, because I'm here all day. And then it would just not even be good. I would drink a Celsius in the middle of the day, which is just, don't drink Celsius.
We were just having that discussion earlier before you were here.
I'm sorry to people that love it, but don't do it. Not good ingredients. But yeah, so that was happening. And
wait.
Yeah.
I've heard something recently about Celsius. That they found something gnarly in Celsius.
I actually truly forgot what it was, but it was some sort of ingredient that was awful.
What's it? The
and
guy,
they apologized
Gary
for it.
something
I don't know.
brought it to light. Starts with a B.
Starts with a B, yeah.
The 10X health guy. Yeah, he kind of brought it to light.
Oh, like an expose. And,
yeah, it was all over social media. For a
really?
while.
Yeah. It's going to bother me because I forgot what it was.
Was it formaldehyde?
I don't know.
Oh, man.
It was something
come on,
gnarly.
No, they had some rough,
Really?
and they did come out and apologize for it or something and remake. I don't know. It was one of the flavors, I think.
Oh, okay.
But they also, the majority, a lot of sucralose, which is just not the best. But, on top of just having coffee and everything, I mean, people rely on those.
Yeah.
Some people like
I don't think I've ever had a Celsius.
Don't start.
I
not
don't think
that
I
great.
have.
It's one of the hardest habits for me to break. I get into it, and then I have to do a challenge with my kid.
I love that.
Yeah. If I do it, I owe you $100 type
And
of thing.
that stings a
Yes,
little bit.
it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's got to be some big thing
Yeah.
to get me to break the addiction to those things.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to get on them.
I liked the Coca-Cola one, and I don't even like soda. That was the only one I
had a
liked. They
Coca-Cola
did have a
flavor?
Coca-Cola flavor, and then they had like peach and those were so sweet for me.
Yeah.
But the Coca-Cola one was like my favorite.
I think
never
that
tried
was
that
the
one.
last thing that I got that I gave up was the Diet Coke.
Oh, really?
I
yeah.
mean, we're talking a long time ago,
Yeah.
but I used to
Like
love
yesterday.
Yeah.
She's having a day.
Diet
She's
Coke
having a day.
and lemon was my thing.
People
Oh, really?
I've never understood the
I
lemon.
don't know
Is it
why
that good?
either. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you why.
Yeah.
It's weird, but
Yeah.
anyway.
That's funny.
We get into our little funky habits, don't we?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, so you're jamming along.
Yeah. And also to the point, just on the Celsius too, everything in my diet was sugar-free,
Oh, I remember
fat-free.
those days too.
Which is just ridiculous
Right,
now
right.
to
It's
look
funny,
at that
isn't it?
and how many chemicals I was putting into my body.
But that's okay.
But that's okay because there's no calories. And even just like I would make pancakes with sugar-free syrup
yeah.
and like you
Oh,
name
yeah.
it. And then I would go to Starbucks in the middle of like the day and get like the sugar-free
Extra
syrup.
pumps.
But oh my God, it was just so bad. Sleep was obviously wacko.
Yeah.
And then like just to give a tiny bit of a backstory, not only was that happening, but when I was probably in like middle school, high school, my mom didn't know, but when I would get sick, she'd take me to the doctor and I would get an antibiotic like all the time. So, and that catches up with you.
Yep.
That catches up with you years later sometimes. So that was like brewing. I had no idea.
Right.
And then even because I was burnt out sleep deprived, I was getting sick a lot. So during the fall, I would get strep throat. You have to take an antibiotic for that, for the most part, right? Or a cold or whatever. And so because my sleep was so trash, I was more susceptible to just getting sick. So it would take some antibiotics too at this time. But that was going on, just like full burnout. And then when there were a couple times, like when you asked me, did you ever feel like you weren't aligning? And there was one night where I had trained, it was like a full day, and I was tired, but I was good. I was driving home. It was like 8:30, and I was on the 101, and this is when I lived in like Sherman Oaks, and I was at my exit, and I was like kind of zoning out, and I got hit by a motorcycle.
Whoa.
He was trying to pass me in the guardrail.
Oh.
Because he just had to just do that.
Of course.
And so he hits my car. Thankfully, I reacted well, but I swerved, hit the car next to me, and then I flipped
Oh my God.
twice on the freeway, landed upside down.
No.
They had to pull me out of my car.
Oh,
it was a
geez.
whole thing. And then, of course, it was like, not to like bring down the mood, but of course, that was a point where I was so stressed out about not going back to work. And I was mentally not okay. Like physically, I walked away with a torn labrum. And that was it, which was wild.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Motorcycle guy, totally fine, just bopping around. I'm like,
Really?
what? My car's upside down. I'm like, what is happening? It was traumatic. It was awful. Had to do a lot of therapy, like PTSD stuff.
Yeah.
But I was okay. And so physically, even like the next week came and I was like, I feel like I need to go back to work. Like I was like so not good. And it's like, you need to rest, you know? So I went back, I was like, I'm not okay. Had to
Rest
take
is a
time
4-letter
off.
word for people.
Oh, yeah.
It's a sign of weakness.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah. It is.
I mean, gosh, it's crazy how much.
And I never rested.
Yeah.
Even when I was before this. I mean, I was just, a rest day to me was so terrifying.
Right.
Because I was like, I'm able, I'm willing, I'm a little sore, but I can do it.
Yeah.
Which is just a mentality that I'm so far away from.
Yeah.
I didn't work out today.
Good job.
Thank you.
Love it.
Where's that applause? See,
Normally I would have. Thank you. Because my mind would have gone Friday, weekend's coming, hard workout.
Yeah.
Saturday morning, hard workout, and then I can just let it all go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So,
But that is, I want to talk to that point.
Yeah.
That is a huge statement that you can say, I didn't work out today with a smile on your face.
Absolutely.
And not being terrified.
Yeah.
I'd be proud of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because I feel the same. And
Yeah.
I know that feeling and I am with you
Yeah.
on that so much. Like I've told Brad, I used to, on vacations, pack a scale, my scale from home.
Oh, God.
So, because you don't know what the scale is going to be like at the resort.
right.
Could be off. Could be
be a
different.
different-
Yeah.
every scale is different.
Right. So I need to
Yeah.
weigh myself with the scale that I'm used to.
You were doing that when we first started training together. I remember,
No.
Yes, I remember
No,
you
Brad,
telling me you had
no,
to
this was
pack
when
it.
I was married to my first husband. No,
are
I
you
haven't
sure?
been
Oh,
this
maybe you just told me the story.
I have not
'cause I
been this
remember that. Okay, good.
dysfunctional in a long time. I
Okay.
mean, I'm
I've
dysfunctional
never-
still,
Wild.
but not,
You're not dysfunctional.
well, kind of. We all are a little bit, aren't we?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not.
yeah, except for you.
Brad's perfect.
Yeah, he is perfect. But I can relate to that.
Yeah.
These weird things that we did.
Totally.
And I can totally relate to the sugar-free stuff. You probably don't. That doesn't seem like a guy thing.
It wasn't a guy thing,
Yeah,
but I
don't
remember.
think it
girls
was a
would
guy
do
thing.
that.
Yeah.
Red vines were fat-free, so you could eat all of those.
And
Yeah.
then Jello.
Oh, yeah.
Jello, and there was another one too that people were crazy about, and I was like, "This is so bad."
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
it's-
And the scale is a trigger for a lot of women, which I do understand.
I hate it.
There are the scales that you can get with the different markers of body fat, muscle mass, which also
And
how
I
accurate
have
is
one
that?
of those, but I don't think, I mean,
I don't know how
on.
accurate that can be.
Yeah.
Really, but it's a thing. And for me, it was always just going off the plan, and like then I would do I would jump into the hardest class I could on Monday morning.
Right. Because you were bad
And
over
I
the
was
weekend.
Like, this is just so not healthy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so kind of after a couple instances of having some rest, but still just going back into it. And that was in 2019. Car accident was in 2019. So then 2020, world shuts down. Obviously, the gym had to shut down for a little bit. And it was sad. Like, don't get me wrong. It was sad. I missed it.
Yeah.
I missed them. But that was truly the first time in so many years where I was lacking so much self-care. I was lacking so much of just so, like, my hair was in a bun every single day. And just as a woman, sometimes you want to get ready. Like, I just felt like during the week, I was just this, like, go,
Robotic
zombie
on your-
workout, sugar-free chick. And it was like, this is so not fun, you know?
Yeah.
And so I was able to have my morning routine, and I was able to, like, go on a walk and just breathe. And of course, like, because I was living in Santa Monica and that was such a far drive, like not that far, but in between breaks and stuff, I couldn't go home. You know, I wasn't going to drive back to Santa Monica. So fully like started resting. And then I got the urge to just start teaching Zoom classes because we couldn't really, we weren't doing anything. So I started teaching booty classes.
I'm not a booty class guy, by the way.
I know. But I was doing a lot of those, and it was a lot of girls from the gym too, which was super fun. But then I would put it out to people. I would just post it on Instagram, and I think that's when social media was so great.
Yeah.
And you could just do anything.
You could go
at that
live
point.
on
you
your
could go
Instagram.
live. You could do whatever.
I did a few of those, yeah.
And it was fun, you know. So did a lot of that, and then I just started training people in the park, at the dirty park in Santa Monica.
Same. Well, not in Santa Monica, but I did the same.
Where? In LA?
Oh, no. Down here.
Oh, out here.
Irvine,
It's a little bit better out here. A little dangerous, actually, in Santa Monica. You're just a bum. But it was going well, and I was building kind of a reputation in a way in Santa Monica, which I didn't think was really possible. So started doing that, and then I kind of had this thought of like, I think I can do this by myself. I don't really know what it looks like. I have no idea how I'm going to do it, but I think I can do it. So I ended up quitting, which was really hard, really, really hard. But then I just launched my first LLC, which was Healthy
for
Habits
you.
with Chelsea.
I love it.
No, it's a little cringy, but
No, I think that's awesome.
we did that. And then I just started really kind of diving into more the nutrition because I was like, okay, it's 80% of the battle. I love training people, but we got to make sure they're eating right. And at that time, my only knowledge about nutrition was like macros because that's all I knew. Yeah. So I would which was helpful at that time. I mean, it was helpful to throw that in and be like, okay, these are your calories. Here's your meal plan. I'll switch it up every couple weeks, you know. But it was very like straightforward. I wasn't really asking them about their sleep. I wasn't really asking them about their stress, you know. And even though like I probably should have, but I was coming out of it myself, I feel, and I was just not. It wasn't as educated as like how burnt out I really was. But it was going well. And then in 2021, so this is now like a year after, this was the first time I had ever been running a business. So I was very stressed out, did not have work-life balance. So it's kind of like I went from that to, but I was way better. Yeah. But I was like, I don't know how to structure my work. Like I feel like I'm working in the morning and then I'm working in the evening and then I'm still kind of just like not giving myself as much, you know, although I could make my own schedule, which was nice, but I hadn't really figured out like you don't have to work every hour of every day, you know, as a entrepreneur and now business owner. So I had like a business coach who was super helpful at the time, but all of a sudden everything, so antibiotics, wreaked metabolism from up and down, weekend binges and everything hit me all at once in 2021. My hair was falling out.
Oh, wow.
I had scalp psoriasis all over my scalp. I looked 9 months pregnant.
Whoa.
So bloated, gut health upside down. And I didn't know. I was like, wait.
What's happening?
I'm so healthy. Yeah. Like, what's going on? And then this was like this like needed to happen. And as upsetting as it was and as frustrating as it was, if this didn't happen, my business would not be what it is right now. So I'm grateful for it. But I remember waking up and I was super bloated. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. And then it didn't go away. Could barely, like, I wasn't digesting food. I was like acid reflux. Like all these things were just not cute, by the way, and just not fun. Right. And I was like, this is so weird. And then it caused me to spiral even more. So I was like, more cardio, more this, more that.
Yep.
Oh, it's because I didn't go to the gym.
You were a bad girl.
I was a bad girl. So then so strict on my eating. I was like, okay, the protein, like this, what am I doing? It's the protein powder. Right. So then I went down the rabbit hole of like the like pricking your finger and doing like whatever.
Wow. Right.
And that comes back and tells me I'm allergic to egg whites. I wasn't even eating egg whites. So I was like, okay, maybe that wasn't the right one. But trying to figure it out. So I went to a gastroenterologist. They tested me for SIBO. You know what that is? You have to like breathe into a...
Oh, I don't know what SIBO is.
It's like a small intestinal thing. And like a lot of the same symptoms as like IBS or like things like that. Test me for that. All no. Negative.
Thank God, because I've had clients that have had that. It's horrible.
It's a lot of work.
To get rid of.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
But that was normal. Thyroid normal. Blood work normal. Lady doctor normal. Everything was normal. I was like, I don't feel normal. Oh. And I was so, you're going to love this, but I was so at a loss. And I finally was like, naturopath, done. Like, I'm booking it. And I had never seen a naturopath in my life. And she changed my whole life. That's awesome. I mean, and I know you have a lot that you work with and love, and she's in Beverly Hills, but she does telehealth. And I got in like a couple days later, and I was like, this poor girl. I'm like loading on her with everything, but I almost cried. And I was sitting there and I was like, I'm really healthy. Like, I promise. I'm so upset and everything's wrong.
Why is that we feel like it's our fault?
Yeah.
Yes, always.
And I wanted her to know how healthy I was.
Right.
I was like, I don't want her to think I'm stupid.
Right.
And she was like, it's fine. How stressed are you?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not good.
Yeah.
So she did a whole protocol. We did all the tests. We did all the...
So she does the muscle testing like Shelby, it sounds like, or no?
She's more on the gut health and hormone expert. I don't actually know if she does that.
Okay.
But I did a stool test.
That's a fun experience.
But
The first
she
time.
loves them. She loves them, and she's such a she wants everyone to do them.
She geeks out on it.
Because she always says you can do blood work and you can do the allergy tests and sensitivity tests, things like that. And she was like, but the real way to see what's going on inside of you is to know what's going on inside of you.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a really powerful test.
It's powerful. You can see the bacteria overgrowth.
Yeah.
You can see what's going on. And it was the antibiotics. It was the stress. It was the up and down dieting. It was everything, which is why I had psoriasis, because my gut was messed up.
Right.
And my hair, like clumps.
Really?
Just clumps falling out.
Wow.
It's actually pretty common.
Pretty common.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the first thing if a client comes to me is like acne. I'm just thinking of the gut. I mean, I'm thinking of, and hormones, of course.
Yeah.
But she changed my whole life.
That's awesome.
And then went back to school, integrative health, and then had to kind of rebrand.
Sorry, Dad, no psychology.
I know, still.
Oh, well, that's okay.
Still.
But like you said, you still use it a little, I'm sure.
So much.
Right?
Yeah.
So much. But yeah, so then I rebranded, which took a while. You know, I had to kind of come away from just trainer and more to what it is now. So it's been a journey. Yeah.
Great.
But I love it because so many people that I love, you got lucky. Like it happened to you early.
Yes.
Which
I
is
was like
awesome.
28.
That's still really early.
But
Right? I know.
Yeah.
I know.
But
Because it's happening now to a lot of people, late 30s or.
Yeah, so you got to experience it early.
Yeah.
And this is the path that most people are on because it's this almost abusive cycle of,
The burnout too.
Yeah.
I got to do more. It's the only answer is go do more, eat less, do more, cut this out, cut that out.
Yeah.
Go harder.
Yep.
Oh, you screwed up over, you had a cheat meal on Sunday. Like if you wouldn't do that, you wouldn't feel like
Right.
this.
It's like mental too, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much.
so much of
Yeah.
it.
But people end up in the state like, oh, I feel horrible, but my doctor tells me I'm fine. All my lab tests come back, I'm fine, but I don't feel fine.
Well, that's the thing. And two things. I think with her, I love my doctor as well because she says this is why this happens. Like
who's
her
the
name's
doctor?
Dr. Jasmine Tilley.
Love it.
She's in Beverly Hills.
Shout out to her.
Yeah, she's great. I've sent so many people to her, so many people. But she's always saying there's never just one symptom. And that's like her catchphrase that she says all the time. And she also says you will do blood work with a doctor and everything looks normal. And then she will do specific tests with you, whether it's specific hormone tests or whatever. And she's like, this is why you don't feel normal. Your hormones are not metabolizing in the right way, X, Y, and Z. She sees men, she sees women. But that was the point where I was like, it is not just about diet and exercise. You just can't take those two components. If you are not well, and I think another thing in my holistic program, integrative program, what they teach you, and you might have heard this because I think people are talking about it now, but there's your primary food and your secondary food. And your primary food is your relationships, your career, your spirituality, if you're spiritual, religious, whatever, your friendships, your self-care, things that actually fill up your cup, and then your secondary food is the food on your plate.
I have never heard that
Oh,
either.
really? Okay.
And
I've
I
told
love it.
some people and they're like,
Yeah.
oh,
I
I've
love it.
heard that. I think there's
No.
different names for it.
That's amazing.
But when you really think about it, it's okay, you go out and you get drunk with your friends because you're not happy in your relationship, or you come home and you binge on this because you don't like your job, or you do that because of this. And so it's looking at all of that is this the holistic way of looking at somebody and being what is really going on with you? Because you keep falling in and out of your health. You're viewing your health as something with an end goal. It's a vehicle. It's not a, or sorry, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Destination. Yeah. Vehicle, not a destination. So it's got to be for life.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a diet for life. It's just got to be, this is my way of living, you know? And like, yeah, you have to make some sacrifices. And like, if it was easy, everyone would do it.
Right.
Yes.
But your priorities got to, you know, shift a little bit in the sense of like, I care what I put into my body. I care about moving it.
Yep.
You know? And I think that's something that a lot of people, like, they view losing weight as this like and like, it depends on who you are and like what you've got going on.
Yeah.
And how much weight you're trying to lose and stuff like that. But it becomes this like terrible, daunting
Task.
chore. Yeah, task. And it's like, this should just be, you know, you should care and you should eat vibrantly and you should eat the rainbow and like, because you'll feel better. And then you'll perform in all other areas of your life, which I know you agree with as well.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
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 I like the whole idea around the primary foods.
Yeah.
Not even being about food.
Yeah.
That's the scary stuff
It's not.
that you got to go face.
It's
Right.
not about food.
Yeah, but but like
Right. You called it primary foods, though.
Well,
Food,
yes. So I'm saying like at the end of the day, it's not just about the food on your plate.
Right,
yeah,
right.
like
No,
the
primary things,
relationships,
yeah.
the spirituality, the traumas you got to go deal with.
Everything.
Like all those things are having a massive impact on how we look, how we feel.
Always.
But the starting place is always, oh, you feel horrible? You don't like how you look? Go exercise.
Yeah.
Like that should be the last place people start, in my opinion. Okay, go for a walk. I agree with that one. But like,
Yeah.
if you're, as you put it, your primary foods are out of whack,
Suffering.
and you're suffering, and your solution is to go suffer more physically,
Then it's a punishment.
yeah, and
It's not enjoyable.
no, and it's
At
gonna
all.
it's gonna make things worse.
Yeah. Well, even the understanding metabolism one that you talked about when you do that reset with people.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And that's what I will kind of sort of do. But now the only thing that's really changed with the coaching is in like an app format now.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Everyone's on their phone all the time. But you get the meal plan, you get the workouts. The workouts are very straightforward. But it really is catered to the person, especially with the cardio aspect of things. And some people really love doing their cardio. And so that's hard to like take them a little bit away from, because I believe in squats, deadlifts, rows, simple kind of boring stuff.
Yeah.
But go do your low impact. Go have fun. Go take a class with Raquel. Go,
Yeah.
like, you know, like do things that do Pilates. Like,
Absolutely.
go for it. And I think that's great to also reduce some stress
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
But with the like reset aspect that you were talking about, like sometimes when people come in, they are spinning their wheels. They are, I can't even tell you how many times I get a call with a girl and she's like, well, I go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week. I hit legs. Like, you're doing everything right. Like everything sounds okay,
Yeah.
you know? And like, I try to eat my protein and I try to do this. And in my mind, I'm just like, you're so stressed out because your body's not changing that you are just in this cycle of like, it's not going to work,
Yeah.
you know? And so usually like volume 1 is like, you need to just walk.
Yeah.
Like that's literally what I tell them. And I'll give them like 2 to 3 strength days if they can handle it, but it's so simple.
Yeah.
And then I want to look at their lifestyle and like, how much time do you have to work out? Like, are you forcing this? Like, can you just like maybe move a couple things around? What if we start with 1,
Yeah.
you know?
But that's such a sensible way to be.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, like you were saying, in the past, it's not been looked upon in that way.
Oh, totally no.
It's, you know, especially as we can definitely relate in this industry, it's just more, you know,
It's just go, go, go.
Yeah, and beat the shit out of
Yeah.
yourself. Beat the shit out of yourself. And it has taken, even now, I have the scale is still kind of weird for me. I mean, I now am at this point, I used to never weigh myself recently. When I did the reset, I started doing it once a week. And I've told Brad, I went up a little bit. I don't like that. And and he said,
But
what did you
muscle?
No, I know. But
Yeah.
he said, why is this number, why are you so attached to the number? I think is what you
Yeah.
asked me.
That's a lot of people.
And for sure.
Yeah.
So many people.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I weighed in college. Well, cool. Well, you know what I
people
mean?
yes.
You were also smoking and whatever, you know,
you're
in
college.
college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People have a number that they love.
Yes. And
They want to get back to that.
and I'm no
Yeah.
different. And I'm no different.
Yeah.
Or we have this memory of how we looked at a certain stage in our life and that was perfect. But some of those times when I looked that way were not a super healthy scenario either.
Right.
Well, and that's why I struggle with like the transformations, like 90-day transformations, where they go like to extreme cutting to get a certain look. I feel so bad for that person because they'll never look like that again.
Right, the
like,
boomerang.
like they
Right.
did on that day.
And that's the standard.
and now that's the standard. But it's like you can't sustain that.
No.
Yeah.
But somehow we think, no, if I am just perfect, I do everything right, I can live like, no, you can't.
365 days a year.
You can't.
Yeah.
Like even the fitness models, but none of them look like how they look in the pictures we see.
No.
It's sad. And then you get stuck on that.
Yep.
Oh, I'm not as good as I used to be because I don't look like
yes.
that
A
anymore.
lot of those women too, like I'll get a lot of them and they will just say, like, you know, like, I know how to get back to that. I know what I got to do.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, let me ask you, is that something you see? What happens when you go out to dinner?
Yeah.
What happens when you go on date night? What happens when you go out with your girlfriends? Like you cannot live by a manual and by this like, and I really try to get people to a place of intuitive eating. And I hate that word now because I feel like it's everywhere.
Yeah.
No, but I think it's smart.
And everyone's like intuitive, but it's really what I'm striving for. And I will give people a plan and be like, look, this is for the girl who wants to follow this literally because she just wants to. And then this is for the girl that can jazz it up.
Yeah.
You're not afraid of a spice. You can add in a little extra protein. You can do this. Like I think sometimes like I will struggle sometimes with imposter syndrome because I'm not the coach that's going to have you heavily track your macros.
But who
Like,
really
I'm not-
wants to do that for the rest of their life?
I think it's a good place to start for a lot of people.
Yes.
And that is why.
Because they have no idea.
They have no idea. And they're probably overeating, undereating.
Right.
For sure. And I do it. I mean, I do it. It's part of it. You get your calories. Your plan is catered to those calories. You can log it. There's a food log component to the app. And a lot of people use it. But I also am like, I don't think like we lie. And I feel like there's the old, you know, the like fist method
Yeah.
with the protein or whatever.
yeah.
I'm like, do it. It's your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's like, because women is like 4 to 6 ounces or whatever. And that's like deck of cards. And that's like kind of your hand. If you ever get stuck, you know, I just feel like when the tracking causes more stress, the stress causes more problems.
Right.
So if you don't have
Vicious
a
cycle.
problem
Vicious cycle.
with tracking, cool. Like if that's what you want to do, like absolutely. And then if you're going to do a figure competition, I'm not your coach. It's probably more Brad.
No.
But I'm just kidding.
Because I hope all of our members of the weight room are listening to this because you are validating everything I've been telling them.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm like, where are my macros? I'm like, I don't want to give you those because you're going to stress so much on being perfect with those macros that the stress is going to wipe it all out.
Yeah.
So if you look at everything I give people, it's all based on the hand method.
Oh yeah. No, I have like a little guide that goes out to them that I made.
Yeah.
And I think hopefully they use it, but it's just not a sustainable thing for me, and I don't love it. And but the also the problem is like we're not getting enough protein, like no one.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if you're gonna track anything, track your protein.
Right.
Like
Right.
make
I'm with
sure
that.
you know you're getting as close to whatever
Right.
it is.
Yeah.
Well, and here's my favorite part is when you do that. You know, someone's doing it, but they're like, holy shit, this is so much protein.
Yes.
It's a lot.
How do I do this?
Right.
The person that comes in like, oh yeah, I'm doing it perfect. I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
I know you're not.
I don't think
because-
anyone is. Like
No.
we're all trying,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Because when you're getting close, it is effort.
You're
Yeah.
full.
It's nutty.
Yeah.
And you know, another thing is to speak to your point about it's not sustainable. Yesterday, I had a day that was what I call a poor eating day.
Yeah, it
Not
happens.
so much because it was certainly not because I went to McDonald's. It was because I didn't eat enough at all.
Yeah.
You know, I had 4 eggs in the morning. I went on with my day. I had a facial, first world problems. You
Love
know,
it.
I get to, don't have to. And I didn't get done with things until 3. So
you
by
had that
3
window
o'clock,
of just not eating.
I had a dandy blend that I was having with collagen protein in it, and I'd had 4 egg whites, or 4 not egg whites, 4 eggs, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I thought, holy crap! Then I had a beef stick, and I thought, this is not good.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you catch up? I thought I'm not going to stress about it.
Yeah.
This is just what this day is. I had a great dinner, you know, whatever. But it's so funny how when you're like that and you get down into the low blood sugar
Your
and
mood.
yes, and what can I grab fast?
Yes.
What can I grab fast?
Yes.
Oh, I can grab these almonds real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny how that we don't think about, can I grab a steak real quick? you know what I mean?
Because it's inconvenient.
Yeah, it is inconvenient.
problem.
And it's
Yeah.
too bad that it is difficult and takes so much planning to
does.
eat strategically.
It does.
Yeah.
No, that's a very valid
Yeah.
point. And sometimes that happens. You're just
Yeah.
running errands. The
Right.
day gets away from you.
You're like, holy
You're
crap.
here, you're there,
Yep.
you know, and then
Yep.
you're like, wow, I really have not eaten since
Right.
the breakfast this morning.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
some people, maybe the old me even, would have gone, oh, cool.
how
I'm
great I was
gonna
today."
feel good tomorrow because I didn't eat that much.
I'm in a
And maybe-
deficit.
Yeah. So instead, I was beating up myself for a moment. Shit, I had a really bad eating day.
Yeah.
Quinn said, what do you mean bad eating day, my daughter? And I said, just because I didn't eat enough. And I mean, to me, that's progress, number
Huge
one.
No,
progress.
that's great.
And number
Yeah.
That's
two,
great.
I said, okay,
Yeah.
That's okay. That's
Yeah.
what certain days look like that,
Certain
right?
day is not perfect.
And not stressing about it is so much more important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
It's the silent killer. It's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you validate that.
Yeah.
That was like one of the things I
Yeah.
kind of feel like when people have gone through the exercise trauma, I call it, where they
Exercise trauma?
Yeah.
No, that's so true though.
wow.
You wake up one day and your whole body's falling apart.
yeah.
You've done everything perfect. You train like crazy. You watch what
Yeah.
you're just super strict.
Right.
And then one day, like your experience, you just wake up and your body's in a shitstorm and you don't know why.
You don't know where to look. You
Your
don't know where to
doctor's telling
start.
you you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It tends to be, that's when people find the good stuff. And we're in so much alignment on
Yeah.
the sleep, the digestion, the stress management, the cut back on your exercise. Don't be afraid of food. Stop being so diligent
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
all the particular things. I always tell people, go find me an animal in the wild that tracks anything.
Seriously. But seriously.
Seriously, if you walk out in the
You
wild.
mean the leopards are not tracking their macros?
None of them are. And
Come
they
on.
all look
They
exactly
look
how they're supposed to look.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're freaking lean.
And when you, I honestly, I dug into this a
muscular
little
and
bit.
lean.
It's yeah, sure.
They use intuitive eating.
Yes. And
Like-
I'm sorry, I always
Good
use
point.
the example, which I think is like, I don't know if this applies, but look at like cavemen.
Yeah.
They were ripped. And
I heard they were so strong
they weren't
back
doing
then
CrossFit.
that they could literally throw another human being like through a goalpost.
I
on a
don't
football
doubt it.
field.
What?
That's how strong.
And look, they were building
Wait a
things.
minute.
They
Where did
were
you hear
lifting
that?
I don't remember. I just remember that always stuck with me. Every time I see a field goal, I
That's
think
fun.
about that. It's like cavemen.
a human.
Like were that strong because
Yeah.
of how they were required to live.
Well,
Yeah.
there's no doubt. You know, you see these little memes or what have you. There's no doubt that what our society looks like, American society now versus 50 years
God.
ago,
Oh, it's crazy different.
is so different.
Yeah.
And what's changed?
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Technology, we sit.
Yeah,
We don't
right,
get
right.
up. We're not required to
the kids don't
find
go outside and
food.
play.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They don't play. I know. It's a problem.
Yeah.
it
It's for
really
sure a
is
problem.
It's wild.
But I feel like the education is getting better.
Yes,
I do too.
And I feel like people are kind of becoming a little more open to these crazy ideas
Yeah.
of maybe just go for a walk today and skip
Right.
the gym.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't sleep at all last night? Maybe go take a nap.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I think it's slowly starting to drip in. And people are starting to do it, right? Like
Yeah.
I've seen all your transformations of your clients and you're not even trying, like that's not the goal of it.
Right. And I'm not, yeah.
But it's phenomenal how much better they look. But they look better and they feel better.
They feel better. And I'm trying to instill habits
Yeah.
for life, you know, as dramatic as that sounds. But we have like a little community group in there, and I'm always posting things about like affirm with me. A night out is not going to derail you,
No.
you know? And it's just,
and that's hard.
it's really
Yeah.
hard. It's really, really hard. And it kind of just like, I don't even like fully have like a game plan about it. I kind of just go in and I'm like, look, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be okay. And like, if you keep falling in and out of your health all the time, that's the real problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you're not viewing it as something of like, oh, like instead of like, okay, I had a day where I couldn't eat and I went to McDonald's. Instead of I have time, I'm going to be home in 10 minutes. Like I can make food when I get home.
Right. Yeah.
Those are like little shifts
Yeah.
that people start to just do. And like,
Right.
oh, wow, like I actually came home and made food because I knew it was going to make me feel better.
Yeah.
And I'll touch on just like ingredients these days and how bad they are.
and how you have to really read labels.
But you
people.
can't eliminate everything.
No,
So it's like
no.
you can be woo woo, but you can't eliminate everything. You do the best you can,
Yeah.
you know, as best you can. But yeah,
That's a very good point.
Yeah. And that effort matters. It's a life-changing effort.
yeah.
But it's so encouraging, like you said, Brad, that she's only 31.
I love it. Like that was like I was,
and
I was,
this
I was
is like
most
something
excited about.
we would hear
No, I
from
love
a
that.
51-year-old person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you've gone through it already and said, oh,
Yeah.
because you're absolutely right. How many times do you hear, and I know I do too, the people are like, yeah, when I
Yeah.
get to that
When I'm
point.
your age, I'll look
Or
into
when I
that.
get when I go through
Yeah.
perimenopause or menopause.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think another thing with the stress too, because I think while you said there's so much information now being talked about cortisol and hormones and all these things. And yes, I think people are waking up to it. But I also think that there's a lot of misinformation. And then there's people on like TikTok that are like, if you're stressed out, like you will not lose weight and like all these, which I do believe, but I also think there's people you'll see like brides. They're like, I just have been so stressed. I haven't eaten and I look great. Like there's like those things, you know, of like
right.
some stress is good.
Yeah.
Well, you've talked about how that does work to a certain point,
But then
and
you
then
stop.
it doesn't.
And that's what I tell them.
Right.
It's like, I'm not saying you can't lose weight if you're really, really stressed out. You might. You
Yeah.
could do everything right.
Yeah.
You could go to the gym. You could eat well. You
Yeah.
could whatever. But you will get to a point where your body's like, no, I cannot do this anymore. It cannot. And I think just like the information that's everywhere, like I was saying, like the cortisol face and the cortisol belly, and like people are seeing that like, oh, that's what I have. And then they don't do anything about it.
Yeah. Or they go to the extreme of, cortisol's bad.
Cortisol's bad. And it's not all bad.
Yeah. And then it's like, I got my cortisol as low as possible. Like, okay, now you can't get out of bed in the morning. You can't function as a human being. You get nothing done.
Right.
No, you got to get in the proper cortisol curve. Like
people need help.
Yeah, they should elevate early in the day, be elevated. That's how you get things done. And then it's supposed to come down in the evening and we go to sleep.
I'm noticing a trend. We like extremes,
100%.
don't we?
Everyone likes the sexy extremes.
We
yes,
like
the
an
sexy
extreme.
extremes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, everything's got to be extreme. I'm sure you experience as a coach of like, people don't want to do the boring, basic things that have all the biggest impact.
No.
Or, like you said, they wipe it out completely.
Yeah.
So there's no middle ground.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
But everyone's trying to reinvent the wheel too, I feel like, even with training.
Yes.
And I am not against, like I said, any low impact, any Pilates, any bar, like none of it.
Go do your thing.
Go do your thing. Do what makes you feel good. But I also feel just from a standpoint of longevity and muscles and your metabolism and all the things, it's like I do believe in the weight training. I do believe in the strength training. And even if it's only a couple days and then you fill your other days with things that make you happy and you want to stretch and like
Sure.
whatever. But that is kind of like the bread and butter of it, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's funny that the low impact stuff. So I used to travel around the world speaking a lot before COVID. And, I would tell people like, hey, you should do some low level cardio. Well, that's so boring. I'm like, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
My kids were little. We had this whole collection of Nerf guns, and I just put my heart rate monitor on, and I would start a Nerf gun war with all the kids. It'd be me against the
I
kids.
do that now.
It was epic.
awesome.
My kids don't want to do it anymore, but back then it was so fun.
That's great.
So I get my heart rate up. I'm having a freaking Nerf gun war. If it got a little too high, I would just hide in the corner till it came down. And I pop
No,
back
that's
up.
so good.
Yeah.
I mean, even like
being playful.
pickleball, everyone's
Yeah.
like going out and doing stuff. I think that's
Love it.
awesome.
Yeah.
I don't get the pickleball. I got to be honest.
Yeah, I haven't really done it either.
Yeah. I don't know.
I played like once, but
It has overtaken people.
Yeah.
overtaken.
Right?
Yeah, I know.
It's wild.
Yeah. It's pretty
know.
funny.
Yeah.
We played it as a ton when I was a kid because it
Did
started
you?
up in the Pacific Northwest.
Did it really?
So we grew up playing it, and it kind of went away.
What's different between that and tennis?
Bigger paddle, right?
Yeah,
what it is?
like wiffle ball. It's not. You don't have to be as agile.
Okay.
It's more of a touch game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, versus like a speed power game.
Got it.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Is it?
Like I sucked at tennis, but
Okay.
I was always pretty good at pickleball when I was a
Okay, good
kid.
to
So I
know.
liked pickleball.
All right.
Yeah, but it's a fun sport. Yeah. But for people, it gets them out there having fun,
Yeah.
being competitive,
That's
or having
so
relationships.
crucial,
Best
too.
cardio to do.
Yeah, it's
No one wants to be on a treadmill.
no.
Like you can do it,
Yeah.
but it's not. That's not my jam.
Yeah. That went super
I
fast.
know.
33.
yes, I know.
No, thank you so
Oh,
much.
thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
So if people want to reach out to you, we will tag
Yes.
you on
Yeah.
our show notes.
Yeah, give us your website, how people can find
Yeah.
you.
yeah, so Instagram is Chelsea Leigh. I think people think my whole name is Chelsea Leigh, but it's actually Morgan.
That's what that threw me too. That's why I
Yeah.
said, say how you want your name to be spelled
Yeah.
out. Because I thought, did she change this?
No. My middle name is Lee.
Okay.
So I just go by Chelsea Leigh, but my full name is Chelsea Leigh Morgan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Chelsea Leigh, which I also think people think my name is not Chelsea, it's Chelsea Leigh.
I think so too. That's why I was saying.
I
Yeah,
know,
did
but
she
you know when
change-
it's too far gone, you can't
Yeah,
change
so
it.
you're like, I'm in it. I cannot
Like,
go
it's
back
fine.
now. Yeah.
So Chelsea Leigh is the Instagram, and then the actual program, the app, is Balance Babes by Chelsea Leigh. So
Love
that is the website, and then you can just book a call and get you going.
Love it.
Awesome.
Well,
And we got to get her to the weight room.
I want to go to
check
the
it
weight
out.
room.
Yeah,
I
I'd love
want
to
to
have
check
you
it
come
out.
by.
I'm
Yeah.
really interested in a lot of your tests and stuff
Yeah.
that you were talking about. So
Oh,
yeah.
we'll have to sit down and talk shop one day.
Yeah.
Super supportive of what you do. I think it's
Thank you.
great. So, ladies, if you connect with her, you resonate with her, look her up because what she is preaching is like the gospel. It is.
Yep.
Regards the gospel of
Thank you.
fitness, you're dialed. Like seriously.
Yeah.
Like,
Thank you.
I don't have a lot of respect for a lot of people in our industry.
There's a lot of bullshit. I'm sorry. There's a lot.
I'm just gonna be honest. Like
It's too much.
I'm gonna say 80% of it is garbage
Yeah.
and very
Yeah.
damaging and
Right.
supporting these things that you got to experience will lead to our demise and cause you to reassess. But what you're preaching will lead to a better life that's longer.
Yep.
I mean,
That's
that's
the
just
goal.
the reality of it. So I love what you're doing. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
keep doing it. Keep
Yeah.
rocking it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for
Appreciate
coming
it.
in.
Thank
Thank you so much.